Hiya, welcome to Vlogmas, December 11th. I took a couple of days off, as I'm sure you've noticed, slash almost a week, because I have this ridiculous cough that you will probably hear. I've had it for about a month and a half, and I wanted the weekend off, and I wasn't making that much progress on knitting stuff, so I felt like it would be kind of silly for me to show you 3 rows of knitting in a vlog. Which brings up a question. Are you enjoying short little vlogs every day like Vlogmas? Or would you rather that I'm finding it very manageable, surprisingly, to do short little videos for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes a day. So I'm wondering, would you rather see all of these sort of spliced together into maybe a half-hour video or a once a week vlog where I just give you weekly updates? Because this is much more manageable than me sitting down for an hour at a time. I cannot sit down for an hour at a time. I have little kids. It's kind of a miracle that I'm getting these 5 to 10 minute segments for you in front of my stash where I look like I have this nice yarny background. It's a miracle. You have no idea. So let me know what you would prefer. Would you rather short little vlogs more frequently, or maybe have them all pasted together, one maybe half-hour to 45-minute vlog slash podcast, whatever you want to call it, a little less frequently? So yes, anyway. Updates. Smritty is done but not blocked. So it looks smaller than it's actually going to end up being because crescent shawls have this nice, it's a very, very stretchy edge. So this is it's still going to be more of like a scarf, right? But once I block it out, I'm not sure, I might add some tassels on the end. But this is also intended for my mom, who is smaller than I am. She's like 5 foot even, and don't watch this, Mom. I hope she's not watching. I don't think so. She's not on Instagram. Might see it on Facebook though. I'll have to edit in a warning or something. Don't look, Mom. These Christmas presents. But anyway, it would even fit very nicely as a scarf. Or I had a thought along the way that maybe I should just like tie it in the back and have it look like a cowl, or if I did it again, I might even join it together to work it in the round so it would be a cowl. The reason it is smaller than the original is because the sample, the designer worked hers in worsted weight, and I don't know why I thought that DK would be close enough and I wouldn't end up with a significantly smaller shawl, but this is totally on me. This should be about like 10 inches bigger on each side, so this should be like, you know, it should be bigger, but it's not. But that's okay. I really enjoyed the project. I would totally make another one of these, which is a big deal because I do not remake projects very often, but I would totally remake another Smritty because it was a very nice palette cleanser. It was a very nice, simple project. Really enjoyed it. So that's that. I have started on a non-gift along project, but you heard me mention before. I have started, oh my gosh, my needles are all tangled, on a new shawl design. This is using that Lola Bean Yarn Co. I was showing you. And it's just, yeah, that's a good, that just turned me bright red. Just a nice little lace pattern. And the whole shawl isn't going to be lace. It's gonna increase to maybe one more pattern repeat like out to here. And then I'm either gonna do garter or stockinette for the rest of the shawl. So this will be the border. Maybe I can show it to you like that. This will be the border coming down, and then there will be garter or stockinette for the rest of that side of the shawl. We'll see. Anyway, this is going really, really quickly, which is great because I actually originally was going to use this concept for this yarn, and it didn't show up as well I don't know what it is, but obviously this pattern was meant for this yarn, which is great because sometimes variegated yarn can hide lace, right? I was kind of concerned that you wouldn't be able to see the pattern because there's some variegation in this yarn, and this is great. I mean, it shows up perfectly, which is awesome. I'm really, really pleased about it. It's nice to be able to work with a not completely solid yarn. I love this for, I mean, this needed a solid yarn, no doubt, even though it's kind of tonal. But this, it's nice to be able to work this fun lace pattern with a variegated yarn. I just think it's really nice. So that's that. Hopefully you'll see lots of progress on that over the next couple of days. I'm trying to work pretty monogamously on projects. Number one, to get them finished so I don't lose interest. And number two, because I want to see how quickly I can actually get stuff done so I have an accurate time frame for testers. So if I say, oh, okay, this shawl actually only took me a week and a half to knit, that's much more accurate than me saying, well, I knit on it for about a week and a half over the course of 2 months. Because sometimes I do that if I'm not working on it monogamously. So yeah, I'm trying to give accurate time frames. Excuse me. Let's see. The next thing I wanted to talk about is I've been seeing a lot of people talking about plans for the new year, right? Some people are doing the Make 9 on Instagram. Some people are talking about Stash Down. And my question for you is, there's a challenge floating around Instagram that is fairly strict. And what I mean by that is the challenge is, number one, inventory all of your yarn before the new year. Check, check, check. Cool, totally good. I think that's a great idea. Number two is pick a list of patterns for the entire year and match yarn with it, right? So number three is you get $30 a month for the whole year to buy yarn. And I think number four is something like you get 2 whoopsies, you get 2 mess ups, I guess if you overspend or whatever. So I really like the idea of working from stash. For someone like me, that's good because there's the stash, right? I don't think stash is a bad thing. I don't think buying yarn just because you enjoy it is a bad thing. And sometimes I think they're almost 2 separate things. Sometimes we buy yarn because we enjoy it. Sometimes we buy it for a project. Sometimes financially we're in a situation where no yarn buying is possible, or budgeting yarn buying is very necessary just from a practical standpoint. So I don't think any one stash down challenge is gonna work for everybody. So what I'm wondering about is if any of you are interested in a self-paced stash down. So what that means is each of us have specific goals, right? Some people may want to work completely from stash and not buy anything. Some people may want to do a ratio and say, okay, for every 2 skeins I use up, I can buy 1 more. Whether you tracked it by yardage, whether you track it by actual skeins, you know, because this is 50 grams. So you could say 50 grams out, 25 grams in, whatever. However you would want to track it, that would be totally up to you. But I'm curious if you guys would like to do a sort of self-paced stash down to help you focus on your goals and so we can encourage each other on goals. I don't really think it would be something I would do with prizes per se, because if we're trying to work from stash, it seems very self-defeating to have yarn as a prize, right? Or maybe not, who knows? I would love to hear about that also. But it's something I'm considering. For me personally, I would like to use some of the yarn that I have in my stash and be a little bit more checked on purchasing. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like. I have an Excel spreadsheet that a friend gave me that you can track yardage in and out for projects. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear that. I stopped tracking when I got purchase heavy, right? As we all do. I stopped tracking when I didn't feel like putting the amounts in of what I had purchased. But I have everything in Ravelry. So I think what I'm gonna do is download my total yardage amount from Ravelry. If you're not sure how to do that, I can explain that. And maybe track yardage instead of tracking skeins. And I think I would like to use up double the amount that I purchase. So it would essentially be 2 skeins out for 1 skein in. Possibly even 3 skeins out for 1 skein in. We'll see. I'm not 100% positive. So let me know what you think. I would really like to know. And also where you would like it to be based, whether you Ravelry or a Facebook group or Instagram or all of the above, because I know not everybody uses Instagram, not everybody uses Facebook, not everybody uses Ravelry. I'm curious to find where you would like it. So if you would even like to do a stash down, if you're like, no, I want to buy all the yarn, I have no desire to do this, like I just don't want to, cool, totally fine. I'm curious. So let me know. Yay, happy Vlogmas. Oh, other cool things I wanted to show you. I have been looking for stitch dictionaries. I cannot guarantee how good these are because I just got them, but I grabbed a couple of stitch dictionaries off of Amazon for like $3 a piece plus shipping, because I found that a lot of Goodwill stores will list their book stock online, so you can get a used copy of a stitch dictionary for a very low price. So I got Increase Decrease, which just looks very, very cool. What the decreases look like, what the increases look like. And it's a little bit worn, but you know, cool, who cares? It's a spiral bound stitch dictionary. I got this one, also spiral bound, which I don't think this is necessarily going to be super innovative or anything I haven't seen before, but it is a bunch of stitch patterns and explaining how to work them bottom up, top down. It says 150 stitch patterns to knit, top down, bottom up, back and forth, and in the round. So just, I like books like this that change how you look at a stitch mentally for a design perspective. Because for example, when I was doing this, everybody has looked at it so far and said, this looks like trees, okay? But while you're crocheting it, let me see if I can, it's meant to look like flowers. The stitch pattern in the dictionary, it's called like exploding flowers or exploding lace or something like that, okay? So if I turn it up here like this, all of a sudden I can drape this on here and go, oh my gosh, wouldn't this be a cute halter top, right? Like a bandeau, but from the top down, oh, okay, that's a really elegant shawl, and it's lace, and it's Christmas trees, or it's just whatever trees. And I had another friend, another design friend, said, well, that doesn't look like Christmas trees to me. It reminds me of the shawl, like the skirt on a flamenco dancer. And I went, wow, that's fantastic. Like, it's just a different frame of reference, right? So I think having a stitch dictionary that encourages that mental flexibility with stitches is an asset with designing. Last but not least, just some different Tunisian crochet stitches, because I would just like to know, I'm working on learning a little bit more about what Tunisian crochet can do. So I've been playing with colors, I've been playing with some of the basic stitches. But There's some really neat, like, making a circle with short rows. Cool, let's do it. That would be great for the top of the hat, right? If you could do short rows for the top of the hat, and then we're like, there's just so many different things you could do. And it's a very versatile craft. So I'm looking forward to reading this, and we'll see where we go from there. So it's been 15 minutes. Happy Ruth catches up on like 5 days worth of talking and projects. I'd love to hear your feedback. Happy Vlogmas. Excuse me. Bye.